Hi there, and today is the day that we're going to launch our new and first ever process. So in the process, I'll do launch by the two ways that I covered in the previous videos. So by the launch and by the launch on property when we create employee records. So I named the process employee process. Okay. And let's start doing by the launch action from the process itself. Okay, so let's go here in the server actions and let's create a folder. Let's name process and let's create a new action saying launch process, launch employee process. And we need to get the launch employee process. It's not the so it's this what's happening. I'm not inside the server action. I was inside the process. That's why it's not. It wasn't working. So right now, if I run this action, I'm gonna create the process, and we're going to have a new record here in the process. And right now, we can add human activity. Okay, let's say set name, for example. And in here, yeah, we can have this registered process. It doesn't matter for this video. And in order to run the launch process action, we're going to create a new screen. So let's say launch process and launch employee process. Okay. Okay, so this is the default from OutSystems. And we can just have a button here. And we're going to rename the button as launch employee process. So let's associate action. And we're going to drag and drop the action here. And let's set a message here saying that was created or it was launched. So process employee launched. And let's set as the type success. Okay. So let's publish. Let's see if this works. Okay, so it is published now. Okay, so let's hit the button. Okay, so we have our feedback message. Let's go back here in the studio and let's double click the process. So let me see. So we have the process ID. So the process ID doesn't show. So we ran, I think it was sync app. Another way that we can check this, we can go here in the service center. We can go here in the monitoring tab, going under processes, and we can see that we have our employee process in here. Okay, so we can open in a new tab, and we also have the module that the process is in it. And here we can see all instances for this process. So we have the instance 931, and if we click here, we can see what was so how the process is currently. So we have the started, so it was the process was started, and he's ready on the set name. So the status here, it means the activity status. So we have, for the first one, the start, we have the close because it just started the case, and after that it closes the activity. And for the set name, it is a human activity, it is ready. Okay, and it will not move here because this is a human activity. It needs a user or a human intervention. I can also refresh this, it will remain the same, as you can see. And we have also the started date, so when it was started, the close date. Okay, as we can see here, it was like 1 second, as we have here. And the process is now on the set name activity, and it will not move here the way that he can moves. And in this case, if you go to the process, the next activity is the end, so it is the end of the process. But in order to move here from here, here to here, I need to do something here in order to close this activity and go to the next one. Okay, so this is the first step, or the first way that you can launch a process. Okay, so but let me go back here in the process. So in order to show you, so we have the 931. It makes sense that doesn't have a label because we did not set it, but this is not correct because we don't have uh, information what is this. So in order to change this, we can, so let me see, we have the process. This is the process label. Okay, it doesn't have description. That's weird by OutSystems, why we don't have this. We should have a description, but I guess the label here is it's the description. So let me change this and let's see if it works now. In order to have data, in order to know what process is that one. So let's say employee process to create, let's say like this. Okay, so let me publish again and see after this if we have the value there. Okay, even if you refresh the database, it shouldn't be there because it wasn't before. But let me go back here and let me just check. I don't know if he does any updates. No, he doesn't do any updates. So let me go back here and let me close this, and let's run again. Okay, so let's refresh. Okay, so we have the 34 now. So let me go back here and let me refresh as well. Okay, it's not here. Don't remember where we set the label, but we have the label here, so it should be this or the description. I'm not sure why it is not showing, but for this case it doesn't matter. You can we can check by ourselves and try to have the label there, but the first way that we can launch the process, it is set. I already shown you. And now let's go back here and make sure that we can send the student. That's the entity that I'm going to use. So let's go to edit entity and let's expose this, and let's go back to the process and let's set the launch on to create student. Okay, so we have an error. Let me check. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so when we set the launch on property on the process, what he will do is to represent or to have as an input parameter the ID of that table. Okay, and because we are using the launch employee process, immediately he creates input parameter the same that we have here. Okay, and it is mandatory, so it means that we need to set this. Okay, but for this case I'm not going to use that button anymore. Okay, and we're going to create a new one. Oh, so let me grab the button and create a new one. Let's change this and let's say launch employee process on launch on property. This is just a way to show you how this works. Of course, you're not going to set a name of a button like this. It's just a matter of demo. Okay. So in here, let's create a new action. Okay. And this new action, we're going to use the create student because that's the action that we're going to that is associated to the launch on. So create student. Okay. You grab the create student and the create student here. We need to do to give him something. So let me set as test grade, let's say 90, age 34. Okay, and let's use again the same message and let's publish. Okay, so now it's published. Let's go back to the browser. Okay, so let's create the record. Okay, process employee launched. And now let's go back here to the student. So we have here our record. So we have test, age 34 and grade 90. And if you go back here, so we ended with the 934. Let's refresh. And now as you can see, we have a new process. So now it is the 37. And it is the same. So we have the start and the set name. Okay. So this is the two ways that you can create. You can also create with the process. You go here and use the process, create process, but I don't recommend because or it should run by a record or it should be run by the process. Okay, you have these two ways, these great ways to launch the process, so no need to use this. Okay, so hope you liked it and you understood what was done here. Please subscribe and I'll see you in the next video.